Good morning, one and all. This is Ray from nextforextrade.com. Today is the 13th of September 2019. It's a Friday. So just if you are opening positions today, just be cautious that you'll have to hold them into the weekend. And that obviously leaves you susceptible to the market gapping and an extra bit of risk. So like I said, I do avoid trading on Fridays, but the words avoid, there's always exceptions depending on what the price action is telling me, and I do have a position in at the moment against the NZDUSD. We'll come to that a bit later, but firstly let's just kick off with what the market is doing today, and just a quick normal overview of the strategy. It's a trend-based strategy in case you haven't seen any of these videos before. It's based on time frame correlation and price action. So on our daily chart here, we're looking for signs of a trend: lower lows, lower highs in a downtrend, higher highs, higher lows in an uptrend. And we're looking for some value for money. So we want the price to be pulling back. And in this instance, I use a standard deviation channel, which is what we've got around the price. So we need the price to be pulling back and interacting with or near the upper edge of our standard deviation, or at least above the average, to consider the price giving good value for money. And then lastly, we look to the lower time frames to be agreeing with that. So that's the time frame correlation or time frame agreement. We want them to be moving in a similar direction as the daily chart. So let's crack on. Firstly, we've got the AUD CAD. Now this, as I've mentioned, is showing some nice signs of reversal still. It's still bearish overall on this, absolutely. You've got low lows, low highs. You've got the price retracing here. Yesterday's candle interacted with this previous resistance, which was quite a difficult area for the price to have moved lower than previously. So that previous support has turned into resistance, and it's creating an interaction with our standard deviation channel as well. So this is giving us some clues that the price could in fact find some trouble going much higher than this level. The problem is, at the moment on a daily, there isn't as yet signs of reversal in the current candle. What we'd need to see, if this was a valid entry today, we'd need to see it move past the low of the previous day's candle, which it didn't. So at the moment, this is definitely something that bearish on, but it'd be a case of waiting until next week really to making any decisions on this. We'd want to see in today's candle this have trouble moving higher still than this level, and then on Monday or into early next week start to see these lower time frames roll over, start to show lower lows and lower highs, and that could give us a nice entry. So next, AUD Swissy, similar story to that previous one. Bearish on this overall. This isn't as clean as the other one. It's that same idea of there being a potential lower high in this candle, but it hasn't really interacted with the previous support and resistance levels. I mean, there is zonal areas of support resistance, but there's better stuff out there. This wouldn't be my preference, but yeah, viably you could look to short this with a stop loss above this level and take profits at least before these types of lows here. But the problem at the moment is our lower time frames are not really showing signs of bearishness of yet. I mean, the 15 is kind of started to do it. 5 is very flat. Hourly is still extremely bullish. And yeah, the 4 hourly, yeah, it's one I would leave. It's bearish on it overall, but just needs better timing to warrant an entry. So CADJPY won't label a point. It's same logic that applies to this that the other two we looked at. This is the AUDUSD, hitting some resistance, some zonal resistance with yesterday's high. Still won't want to be short on this just yet. Still bearish on this overall, but just need better timing. What I'd want to see where the price is now is the price just find a bit more value coming up to these areas here, or start to clearly show lower lows and lower highs in the lower time frames if this is in fact resistance. So these would need to start to roll over. This area of support looks pretty significant to break. This area here, or on the low time frames here. So for it, going into next week, if we see the price break these lows, then viably we can use this area here as resistance as a stop above that level. But if it breaks these previous highs, then I would anticipate the price would move, to much deeper into this standard deviation up here, and then it would be a case of waiting for reversals then. And that would be the preferred trade, actually, if it were to break and then show value coming back down, because the profit potential would be much, much greater to the short side. But yeah, it's conjecture until that happens, so we need to wait to see that. We need to wait to see what happens on that. CADJPY, no. CADJPY, bearish on this. So we've got some nice lower lows, lower highs. Prices interacting with our standard deviation here. It's quite a toppy candle that we saw in recent days, with it interacting with some zonal resistance, support, this area here as well. So we've got a decent reference point for our stop above that level. It's just having some clearer evidence of some bearishness in these lower time frames first of all. So this, if we use the hourly or the 4 hourly, whichever takes your preference, this low here or this low here, same thing, that would be some better signs of bearishness. So the price breaking through that, pulling back to give some value, be able to put a standard deviation around the bearish move, that would give us some context to short this, and a stop loss above these levels here. So this would probably be something viably, if you were to enter this today, because of the time now, I mean it's 7 AM in the UK, it would be a tricky one to enter because you're likely to be holding this over the weekend. So yeah, possibly today, depending on how this and if this breaks, but certainly into next week there could be some good opportunities on CADJPY. CADJPY, this I haven't spoken about this one yet, have I? So this was a trade that I was short on this. Can't remember if this was, no, this would have been, yeah, so I got stopped out on this yesterday. So this is some more drawdown that we've seen on this account. But 10 times out of 10 I would have still taken the same setup as I saw it when I entered the trade. The price, the time of my entry was based on this price action here, and the price was still within its standard deviation channel. There was a good premise to short this with stops above this previous high, and we got stopped out again. And yeah, it can be annoying, but I'm not really bothered by it because I was happy with the setup. It did offer a good reward to risk. It was reasonably good probability as well. And in this instance, really, before attempting to short this again, it's really just waiting to see better value for money, because at the moment it is a little bit there's no real signs of reversal as of yet in the higher time frames or the lower time frames. But I'd still be short on this, but it's just waiting for those opportunities for entry that are needed. So let's just have a look here. One moment. Okay, so this here is the Euro AUD. Bullish on this. Daily, nice high lows, high highs. We've had the price come down, interact with our lower edge of our standard deviation. It's found support off of that, but also these horizontal kind of zonal support as well. So this low yesterday interacted here, so we had this support here. You can see previous levels where it was having trouble getting through here, so there's previous resistance. It goes back further as well, so good premise to have stops below this level. But really it's just how to enter this now based on the lower time frames. And we can see in this move here that we saw on a daily, which is this one here on the 4 hourly, There's still pretty clear signs of bearishness in that, where it's retracing. So I would just want to see more definitive signs of bullishness. I mean, you could do this based on these hourly and hour and 15 minutes. So the main thing that's sticking out at the moment is this area of resistance. So prices retrace based on the daily. It's come down, it's hitting this resistance here, lots of levels here, previous support here. So you could viably look to go long on this should the price break this resistance and then pull back to find some value. So standard deviation going from here to whatever the price is as it progresses, and looking for reversals off that standard deviation to go long. And your stop loss would be underneath this level here, and that would offer some decent reward to risk. It may be a while coming, just in terms of how this price action has previously done. It's quite choppy, but if you're in this for a longer term period, then yeah, to the long side this has some potential. You just need to pay attention to what the swaps are, because you may be holding this for a longer period of time, which has an impact on your profitability. And wow, the swaps on this with my broker are quite hefty to the long side. It's 10.9 to be long on this per lot. So I would hesitate on being long on this, in fact, just because of those factors, the carry charges and the fact that it could take a very long time to hit a decent, take profit. But yeah, there's potential in it, but yeah, the swaps are a deal breaker for me on that. Would be short on this, but no signs of reversal as of yet, so pass. Decent signs of resistance on the daily, bearish on this, so stops above this level would make sense, but it's just our lower time frames aren't really showing any definitive signs of bearishness yet. In fact, our hourly is quite boxy. You could box trade this, so that would be a stop above this level here, taking profits before this previous low here where it's finding support. But it's just not the type of trade I typically go for. I want to see some definitive signs of time frame agreement, so I'd want to see these showing lower lows and lower highs, these lower time frames, which it's not doing currently, so I would pass on that for now. EURGBP, yeah, bullish, but no, this price action isn't great because this move here is very, very bearish, and it's not clear yet as whether this is a retrace in terms of this move or a potential move much lower to break this support and continue lower. So I would pass on that. Bearish on this, but no clear signs of reversal as of yet. Looks like it's coming into some previous resistance at these levels around here, but it's conjecture. Need to see some sort of reversal candle, so that's another one for next week. No. Bearish on the Euro USD, but it just needs it needs a clearer reversal. And in fact, yesterday, yeah, look at this move here. This is a perfect example why I prefer to take profits before previous lows. So you can see when we see the price move with lower lows and lower highs in a downtrend, typically when it approaches this previous low, it will have a tendency to either break it or just bounce off it and find support. And in this instance, it found support. You can see it's just dropped down, bang, come to this level, and then pulled away again. And you see that quite, I mean, if you take out the other obvious lows, you can see that often happens. So around this level here, no, all right, we'll do that another day. But yeah, just pay attention. Think of it in terms of as the price approaches previous lowest lows, it has a tendency to bounce or break. So if you're positioned based on the price having pulled back and you're positioned somewhere up here, it means that you can position yourself to take profits before that type of level, or take some money off the table at least before that level. Because if you know if it's going to either bounce or break, one or two things before that level, then making your decision before then, you know, you've banked some profit without risking it. You know, coming to this level, you've entered at a nice timing here, and it to fall away and come back all the way up, and you to miss out on that profit. So it's just something to bear in mind in terms of how price action has a tendency to work. So yeah, Euro USD, bearish on this, but not any viable positions for me just yet. Need to see some daily reversal signs. No GBP AUD, bearish on this, but the timing wouldn't be great on that. GBP CAD, bearish. Yes, encountering a lot of resistance here. I'd still be bearish on this, but I want to see some reversal signs on the daily first of all. None yet, and you know, all of the other time frames are very flat at the moment. It's having trouble getting through this resistance, which was previous support. Probably goes back as well, but no, pass on that. No, pass on this. Bearish, but yeah, price action isn't ideal. It's confusing as to whether to deem this as a retrace, or in terms of this downtrend here, or a potential reversal where it's going to move higher. So pass. Same story with this one. Not sure whether to deem this as a potential reversal or just a retrace until it's definitively broken that previous support there, broken through this resistance. So pass. This one here, GBP USD, bearish overall. It's encountering and has encountered resistance over the last few days, so it's having trouble getting through this level. These previous highs here and previous lows, its previous support turned into resistance now. The thing is, again, it's these lower time frames that aren't rolling over as of yet. So yeah, I would just wait into next week really on this one, see how today's candle closes. Be good to see some kind of reversal candle off of this here, and the price then start to move lower past the previous day's low, and obviously these lower time frames will start to roll over and show lower lows, lower highs as well. So pass on that one. NZD CAD, yeah, this looks interesting. So based on what we're seeing on the daily, let's just see how much of a retrace that is as well. No, it's insignificant. Okay, so we've got this standard deviation around this recent move here on the daily, and we can see it's in an overbought area, and we've seen a nice reversal type candle off of this standard deviation. We've also got the horizontal. Let's go here. So there's zonal support at this level as well. Previous interactions here. So we've got at least a reference point for stop above this previous day's high here, so above this resistance. What's tricky about this is this bigger move also has context as well from here to here, but it's still viable to potentially position this as a trade to short, but yeah, there's what's missing for this for me is the 4 hourly. The 4 hourly on this is still showing this retrace that we saw in the daily, so this bullish move here. The other time frames have started to roll over, show lower lows, lower highs, which is good, but for me the deal breaker is the 4 hourly is still very bullish, and it hasn't shown signs of breaking that price structure. For it to break price structure, what I mean by that is it would have to stop showing higher highs and higher lows. It would need to break these previous this area here for me is kind of the critical area, so you need to break that previous higher low and start to make lower highs and lower lows. So yeah, bearish. but timing isn't great on this as of yet, so I would pass on that. No. Okay, so this is the trade that I'm in, and this is NZDUSD. So based on the daily, we've got some signs of bearishness with the price kind of encaptured in our standard deviation, and we've got an area of resistance as well, which I'm deeming as this lower high. So this resistance here, oh, move my stop there, don't want to do that. So these previous highs here are acting as resistance. So it just gives a reference point for the stop loss above that area there. And the 4 hourly, it's what was kind of interesting on this for me was the way that it had broken the previous support. We can see this support was quite prevalent across many time frames. It's just the lower time frame that you go, the more contact points there are. So on the 4 hourly here, we can see that there was this support, which is the same as this support on hourly here, and it's broken through and it's pulling back now, and it's found resistance off of it. So what I'm anticipating the price will start to do is to cycle lower with lower lows and lower highs. So stop loss above this area here makes sense because it's a clear indication that I'd be wrong on that price movement. It's wide enough as well, this stop, so if the price does adversely start to move against me, so to come back within this range and start to producing, you know, higher highs or testing this higher edge of the price, there's still an opportunity to break even on the price. But you know, ultimately I'm not looking to break even, I'm looking to profit from this, and the setup from this so far looks good enough to warrant at least 1% risk. So this is set up at 1% risk, 1-to-1 reward risk at the moment as well. So but there is a lot of scope beyond that to the downside. So really these kinds of lows have the potential to be achieved, but it's all determined on how the price action kind of develops. And it being a Friday as well, it's just worth bearing in mind this is something that has to go or is likely to have to go into the weekend. So there is the carry to consider. There is a positive swap paid on this, so that means you know, there's not a massive charge for being short in this for a while, but we'll see how this plays out. I will get back to you in the next week as to how that develops. So go on to USD CAD. No, this isn't really readable price action. USD Swissy, bullet bearish on this, but there's still very much signs of bullishness on these lower time frames as it's encountered that resistance. So really breaking price structure again. So these types of lows and price moving lower than that would be some kind of indication to potentially decide to go short on this, but as of yet, no, pass on that. USDJPY, no, timing on that isn't great. Bearish, but no, timing's bad. And okay, Bitcoin, same thing that I've been saying for a while. Definitely bullish on this. Stops below this level, take profits around this type of level, It could have trouble if the price does start to get you know, show signs of bullishness again. I would anticipate these previous highs might show some resistance, but yeah, it's more of a long play with Bitcoin. So yeah, that's it for today. Do remember to like and subscribe to the channel so that you can also get notifications with the live streaming, and you can ask questions whilst I'm live. Hopefully that's been of use for you, and I will see you again next week on Monday. Take care. Bye.